I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to reprogram the pain of your past to the abundance of your desired future. Because what most people, I think, don't understand is that everything that you see in your life has a certain meaning. And sometimes we see things that quite literally generate a feeling of pain, a feeling of something that has happened to us in the past. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you how literally to take anything in your life that you might be experiencing and literally to reprogram it, to see it in a different way. And not only is this going to help you to remove that pain, it's going to help you to continually program yourself to manifest more abundance and literally just get more and more and more and more of what you want and go in this upwards direction of manifesting more of what you want. Let's talk about exactly how to do that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, my website and all the details for that will be down below. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is to understand that it's an interesting concept that I made a joke with one of my friends a while back, which is that anything can be programmed for anything. Anything can be programmed for anything. So anything that you see in your life, even if it's even if you're drinking water has essentially no meaning. It's not good and it's not bad. It's just like what it is. It's just what you make of it. But see, I want to use that simple example to point you in the direction of, if you're drinking water, when you see that water, what does that water remind you of? You know, this is why people always talk about repeating numbers. Like, I'm saying repeating numbers, what does it mean? What do repeating numbers mean? Repeating numbers mean whatever it is that you want them to mean. So if you see a repeating number, you can program that number to mean something for you, and you can use this as a tool. So with this understanding that anything can be programmed for anything, you can take a new object or something in your experience and make it mean something you desire to help you manifest what you want. You can make it mean something. And so similarly, you can take anything. Let's say there's an item. You know, one thing I used to do is, if I had an item that maybe brought up some pain in the past, maybe I had some resentment, towards somebody. Maybe I had some negative emotion that was revived in my body because of this thing. One thing you can do is throw it away if you want. But what I find more exciting is to recharge that thing, to see it in a new way, to turn it into something beautiful. So you have an object that reminds you of the pain of the past, turn it into something that can maybe make you more money or make you feel like you're in perfect health. I know that sounds crazy or something, right? That's what I did with certain objects. I would take objects, I would completely reformulate them. I would take what I had in this present moment, and I should take my power back and say that, you know what? Any object, what does it mean? It means what I want it to mean. So if that's really true, I turned it into a game. How much can I take things that produce some sort of negative emotion for me, and how much can I change it into something that actually makes me feel a lot better, right? And that's the true process of alchemization and true magic. When you get to these levels of alchemization and magic, it gets to the point where nobody's even gonna know that you're doing magic. It just becomes who you are. Like a joke that I made the other day is that I don't really do spells. I don't really do magical rituals. I am the spell. I am the spell. I am a walking ritual. I'm a walking spell. I don't do spells. I am the spell. I am the truth. I don't do things to generate truth. I walk as the truth. I am the truth. I am literally the truth. So I understand that anything can be programmed for anything, and I encourage you to understand that you can do the same thing. You can take anything in your life from the past and see it in a new way. What way can you see that thing? Can you maybe attach some affirmation to it? Can you maybe make it remind you of something else that you want, because that thing is reminding you of the pain. But you can also reprogram it to remind you of where you're deciding to go or who you prefer to be. So the second thing that I want to share with you in this video, although I have already said it, I want to share it explicitly, is to reprogram anything that reminds you of your pain into something that you prefer instead. That's the second step to this process. And I think that this is very powerful, because what this does is this allows you to let go of the need and the compulsive behavior to control external circumstances in order to feel how you want to feel. You take what you have and you work with it. You work with it. You see that that situation is just what it is. You don't need to allow that situation to define your internal state. You define your internal state through seeing it in a particular way. Yes, that means being present, but it also means not just being present, it also means taking control of your mind. And that's what I think a lot of spiritual teachers don't highlight the significance of. And even somebody like Eckhart Tolle, you think, well, Eckhart Tolle doesn't teach that. Does he? Does he really not? What does Eckhart Tolle teach? Eckhart Tolle teaches that the present moment is the only moment that exists. What he also teaches is that the mind is not a bad thing. He has said this explicitly. So if you look up teachers like Eckhart Tolle and you think that what I'm sharing, it's like, oh, it's just some manifestation, mumbo jumbo, law of attraction, guru. I'm not claiming to be a law of attraction guru, first of all. Second of all, what I'm sharing is completely in line with any spiritual teaching of being connected to the present moment. It's simply seeing that the mind is a tool and you want to use the tool versus allowing the tool to use you. And so the key is to see that you have the choice, the free will choice, to choose that the situation that you're in, the thing that's the appearance, the meaningless, essentially, appearance, just an appearance, it's a form that pops up into your consciousness. You know, that appearance is meaningless, but then you can either make it good or you can make it bad. It's whatever really you make of it, right? You can make a great day or you can choose to make it a bad day. And that doesn't seem like a choice when we get lost in, resentment and anger. But, I know that what I'm sharing, everybody deep inside knows that there's some truth to it. Because make a great day. Why is that quote so popular? Because I believe that quote is popular because it has an existential truth attached to it. That's why these quotes get popular and go viral in the human societies, because there's a truth to it, at least I believe. So what I want to conclude this video with is, if you're going through some kind of pain, if you're going through some kind of resistance in your life, we all have patterns of the past that come up, maybe some aspects of our shadow, if you want to use that word. What I'm sharing with you might seem like a little bit airy-fairy and unrelatable and maybe even perhaps difficult. I would personally say that it's more difficult if we're talking pure suffering and pure resistance and level of internal difficulty. I would say internal difficulty, it would be much in terms of that proposition, I don't know if proposition is the right word, in terms of that topic of discussion. If the topic of discussion is how can we decrease the amount of internal resistance and make things more easeful, I would say it's much, much more difficult to hold on to the past and to be in pain and to be in resistance and not to program yourself. People think like, oh my gosh, isn't programming yourself and reprogram, you could say, I don't like to say it in this way a lot because I think it's just life, but you could say reprogramming your subconscious mind. You could say it in that way if you want, whatever way works for you, whatever resonates for you. What I would say is that if you feel like there's any sort of difficulty around that, what I would say is, personally for me, it's much more difficult not to program myself and to be attached to some pain in the past. And, either way, you are attaching meaning to situations. It's always happening. It's just that now with what I'm proposing to you is you're going to take conscious control of that. So no matter what, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. So if it's like, oh, I don't want to take the time out to reprogram myself. I don't want to do it. I don't want to, but you're already programming things. It's just that perhaps right now you're programmed to generate feelings of the past, which involve a lot of pain. But you can take conscious control, do what you're already doing. You're already doing it, but do it in a different way into something that you prefer. So what I'm sharing with you is that if it seems hard, the final thing that I want to share with you in this video to conclude is to see it as an opportunity. As an opportunity, rather than seeing it as a very serious and difficult and strenuous task. No, actually, what you're perhaps, not necessarily doesn't have to be, but perhaps, maybe, perhaps not saying that this is you and you are doing this, but perhaps, you already are making it hard for yourself, and to continue down that path of not programming things, that's going to be hard for you. What's not going to be hard is just seeing the moment in this present, seeing the moment in a different way. That's all I'm inviting you to do here, is to see the moment in a different way. See the appearances in a different way. You could say, reprogram each appearance in your life that you don't like in a way that you like. And I want to conclude one more thing, is that this is the most beautiful and abundant and giving thing that you can do. This is not narcissistic. This is not egotistical. Remove any belief that this is bad or egotistical, because you're already doing it, except that right now, maybe, perhaps not necessarily. It's just that I only say this because I used to have resistance around this, but now I see like, oh, I was already doing it the whole time. I'm just doing it to what I prefer now. And when you do it to what you prefer, you give everybody else also a permission slip to do it how they want, and everybody, this is the win-win. If you attach to the pain of the past, that's what's going to create lose-lose scenarios in your life. Now, if you give yourself permission to code the world how you want, to program the world how you want, you'll be creating win-win scenarios where you can win and everybody else can also win. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, all the details for that will be down below. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next